Hello everyone, my name's Idiotic Synergy and today we're talking about the Foetid Bloat drone. And honestly, it's a little bit overrated. Just a smidge. I love the model. I think it's brilliant. The model is really good, as always, as most Death Guard models are, to be honest with you. But I do think that this model is overrated in game. Though I like this variant the most, or the Plague Mower, just because it looks more menacing and kind of disgusting. Also, it's got sort of like a really cool helmet on. It's really horrible. I do love it to bits, but I think it's a smidge overrated. I really do, especially when you compare it to the Mythic Bloat drone. And on it, I love it. It's so disgusting. It's such a cool model. But I just think that is a tad overrated. It honestly though, the flesh mower variant is the best one, and the blight launcher. I remember in 8th edition it was D3, or was it D6? It was D3 or D6 shots, but now it's just Assault 6, and I don't know what I'm talking about. The rules now when we're not even on the rules. But I do like the different smoke effects. I do like how it looks. I just like the different accessories you can put on it. You can put more horns on it. You can put like I said, a different front on it. It's just a really nice model. However, in game, I do think it's a tad overrated. Let me explain what I mean. Well, let me show you what I mean. Because this thing does have rules, and it's very similar stats-wise to the Mythic Blight Hauler. So let's just jump into it. Hello there, Future Synergy here. I've completely neglected to tell you about the price, because it is £32.50, while the Mythic Blight Hauler is only £16. I'm a moron for not including the price, but here we are. It is cheaper to get a Mythic Blight Hauler, which does the same thing as a bloat drone. The only difference is that the bloat drone flies. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled rules looking at ramble. See you in a minute. So these are the rules for the Foetid bloat drone, and it is 5 points more expensive than the regular Mythic Blight Hauler. And the reason I say that it's overrated is because it's got the exact same stats as a Blight Hauler: movement 10, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength 5, toughness 7, wounds 9, attacks 4, leadership 8, and save of a 3. And it's also got a demonic save of a 5 and putrid explosion. So why am I saying that this is overrated? Well, that's because you're pretty much stuck. There's no variation. Once you built it, that's it. For example, you can either equip it with a flesh mower, which I highly recommend you do, because you get 3 hit rolls per attack instead of 1, meaning you get 12 attacks out of a flesh mower, which is pretty good. But if you go down that route, you then don't have a ranged weapon at all. Because you can either have a flesh mower or 2 plague spitters, which are decent enough flamers, or 1 heavy blight launcher, which is assault 6. And I do like the heavy blight launcher, but it's either or. And you might be thinking, oh well, I'll just buy 2. Well, it's much cheaper just to have two Mythic Blight Haulers in the same unit. What basically with Mythic Blight Haulers, you can have 1 unit of 2 or 1 unit of 3. With Plague Drones, you have to take them as 1 unit per, meaning that you're very limited with what you can do in the fast attack. So, for example, because it's fast attack, if you wanted to take 3 bloat drones, it would take up 3 spaces, and that leaves out the Chaos Spawn, which is underrated as hell, the Mythic Blight Hauler, the Death Guard Greater Bloat Drone, and we'll talk about that thing in a minute, or later on. I say in a minute, it won't be this video. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the Greater Bloat Drone or the Dreadclaw Drop Pod. It leaves you're very limited in your choice, and also it's 5 points more expensive than the Mythic Blight Hauler. However, I understand why people take them, and that's because of fly. Basically, you can go over buildings and just charge. However, unless you're fighting an all-flying army, you're just as good with a Mythic Blight Hauler than you are with a Foetid Bloat Drone. Also, you don't feel like you're wasting a spot on just having a ranged attack with a Bloat Drone and a short and like a melee attack with a Bloat Drone. The Mythic Blight Hauler is a Swiss Army knife, or this is dedicated to one or the other. And I do think it's overrated. I do indeed think it's overrated. It's great, don't get me wrong. I think that's a really good unit, but it's overrated, and it's a shame because I think what you should be able to do is one Plague Spitter and one Flesh Mower, or, you know, just something other than you have to take 2 Plague Spitters. I mean, what's wrong with taking 1 Plague Spitter and 1 Blight Launcher? That seems possible, but alas, that isn't. And I know someone's going to point out the Plague Probe. The Plague Probe is the exact same as the Mythic Blight Hauler's regular attack, where it's strength for the user, AP -1, damage 1, and it's a Plague Weapon. Yeah, that's it really. It's a good unit, don't get me wrong. Very good, very strong, very tough, very fast. However, if you want something that's effective and you can take more than 3, if you want to do like an oops all fast attack, I highly recommend the Mythic Blight Hauler over the Foetid Bloat Drone. Now, I say that, you can, if you want, take 2 Mythic Blight Haulers in the same unit and take a Foetid Bloat Drone. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I'm not your dad. If you think this unit's better than the regular Mythic Blight Hauler, that's your opinion. I'm just saying that with the Mythic Blight Hauler, it's a Swiss Army knife. Also, one thing that the Mythic Blight Hauler has over the Bloat Drone is that in melee, it's -1 to hit. As in, like, your opponent, if they're trying to hit the Mythic Bloat Drone, it's -1 to hit the Mythic Bloat Drone. I say Mythic Bloat Drone. Mythic Blight Hauler. Fuck me, I'm an idiot today. Yeah, the Mythic Blight Hauler is -1 to hit that. However, this hasn't got the -1 buff, so it's up to you what you want. It's either you can fly over terrain, which is great, but you're going at the same speed as a Mythic Blight Hauler. I personally would just take Mythic Blight Haulers because you do more. You just do more with a Mythic Blight Hauler. And hell, the multi-melter is really good, especially in close range. However, it's a personal preference. And you might think I'm mental. So, I have been Idiotic Synergy, and thanks for watching. I will say, though, that the Flesh Mower and the Heavy Blight Launcher are brilliant. The Plague Spitter is kind of in fact, Jesus, I can't talk. The Plague Spitter is kind of wasted. I mean, sure, in Overwatch you can just hose people down with a flamer. However, the Blight Launcher is guaranteed 6 hits, and the Flesh Mower gives you 12 hits in melee. And Plague Probe is a decent melee weapon. So you know, you've got a choice there, but I really wouldn't recommend the Plague Spitter. I just wouldn't recommend it. Yes, you can reroll wounds. Yes, it automatically hits. Yes, you can have 2 of them. But the Blight Launcher is consistent, and the Flesh Mower is brilliant in melee. And I do like the Bloat Drone. I really don't like the greater the greater Blight Drone though. That thing I'm not really a fan of. Mainly because it's Forge World and it's really expensive for what it does. Anyway, I have been Idiotic Synergy, and I'll see you next time. Remember, take care, stay safe, and look after each other. Bye for now.